I personally believe that for beginners, you shouldn't be dealing with email password for yourself. In order to do authorization, we need to store user data. When someone logs in, we need to store that new account that is being created. And to do that, we need to have a database. We're going to configure the database in a second because I want to wrap up all the things related to Auth first. So we're going to skip this step for now. We'll come back to it in a second. What we can do in the meanwhile is to set up our various authorization methods. I personally believe that for beginners, you shouldn't be dealing with email password for yourself. There's a lot of messiness there that new developers shouldn't really handle. I think it would be a lot better to use trusted providers like GitHub and Google for authentication. We're going to be focusing on GitHub and Google because those are generally for developers and for regular people the most popular options. With GitHub, we have to get GitHub credentials, and that requires you to have a GitHub account. So let's jump over into the browser and log into GitHub real quick. Okay, we're in GitHub here. We're going to open up the panel here to go to our settings. Then we're going to scroll all the way down before we get to developer settings. Make sure you're not creating a GitHub app, you're creating an OAuth app. And we're going to click here to create our new one. Generally in GitHub, I'll create 2 different versions of the OAuth app for my websites. One of them is for development and one of them is for test. And the reason for that is this authorization callback URL. If we go back to the Better Auth documentation, it says here that we need to set our redirect URL to localhost 3000 API auth callback GitHub. So basically, when it asks GitHub for a user's information, because GitHub is going to be processing for you the login, it needs a place to redirect you back. Basically, this callback here. And so on development, we're going to be running localhost 3000, like the base URL that we set earlier. But here, we only have room for one callback URL. And so if we have one for our development, well, we obviously can't point it back to localhost 3000. That's only for development. We need whatever our development production domain is. And so that's what the second OAuth app is for. It's for our production domain that we're going to be providing.